It is definitely 20 minutes before the hour 8 o'clock. You are still listening to TUTFM 96.2, amplifying voices, empowering lives. And I'll tell you this on this particular note. In the heart of the Kasi, Komakasana, dreams are born in the most unexpected places. From spaza counters, backyard workshops, and dusty corners where ideas meet the hustle. Kasi entrepreneurship is more than just a business. It is survival, innovation, and community all rolled into one. Liguina, fermented ball like they're calling it these days. But as many of our local entrepreneurs have shared when we hit on the streets, questions still remain about how we turn that hustle into a brand that can grow, sustain, and leave a legacy. And tonight on Kasi Entrepreneurship, we're then taking back that conversation to where it all begins. The people on the ground will definitely unpack real issues as they are raised, from funding and sponsorship to collaboration, marketing, branding, and even building strong foundations. We'll definitely talk about challenges, competition, and what it really takes to craft a brand that not only stand out, but stays standing. And I'll bring in Mr. Makopo, who's a very passionate voice in terms of township entrepreneurship, to help us break it down step by step. And remember, we're speaking crafting a brand steps along the way. And I also want to bring in Liseja Sinosha on that particular note. I want to bring in Ntlantla Baloyi on that particular note to also share their sentiments on certain components that we're speaking about. I'll tell you this. Let me do this so that you know we're on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Kasi Entrepreneurship.
Welcome to another empowering edition of Kasi Entrepreneur on the Groundbreakers, right here on TUTFM. This segment is proudly brought to you by Makopo.com. Redefining smart home experience. From voice control ovens to AI-powered home tech, Makopo.com is your trusted partner in luxury and smart living. Step into the future with home appliances that works as hard as you do. Let's build township economy, one entrepreneur at a time.
And just like that, let's definitely get into it. Mr. Makopo, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Mr. Madisa. Good evening to Liseja and Ntlantla. Good evening to our listeners, as usual, our followers on all social medias, and also good evening to our viewers.
Viewers, yeah, you cannot forget the viewers, because they have to be there.
Yes.
You find our conversation a little bit stressing and worrying. Don't stress about that. You know what I did, Remakobo? I went to the ground, spoke to a couple of people, spoke to Renkumishe, spoke to Matera Signolo, spoke to Aisha Amohelang Ramatena, spoke to Pilati, spoke to Malisala Tlakudi, spoke to a lot of people. I'll tell you that. Spoke to Shunya, Tatoko Shimanyana, Monna Lohoa. Right? Yeah. I spoke to them, went to the ground and said, it is about time that we turn the conversation and the question to the people, especially young people on the ground, to then say, when you think about starting a business, when you think about venturing into entrepreneurship, what scares you the most, or what are some of the issues do you think they'll go about? And I'll tell you this, Liseja Piladi mentioned the most interesting ones, and we will get to them. And she was so tired. She just came to writing her exams. Also with Amukhalang Aisha Ramatera, they were so tired.
But the whole group was so drained, bruh. But I don't know what they were writing.
Are they tired as I am this evening?
Remagopo coming in there with studies and something else.
Yeah.
Right? And then Piladi mentioned some pregnant pointers. I'll get to it in a bit, right? But I want us to start it off here with some of the things they've mentioned. And this is coming in from Aisha, who spoke about foundation, wanting to know the starting point of a person. And then I want to come in to say, if we're speaking on to brands, how would you describe the very first brand or steps of creating a brand from humble beginnings? Like you've mentioned, Makopo Holdings is now a brand. It's no longer just the name of your company. Everywhere we go, remember there was a point when you mentioned, I think we were driving the white car because it's branded, but it might be impossible for it to be stolen because this is a brand.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how would you then define the beginning steps of creating a brand?
I think the steps they depend on person to person, the goals that you want to achieve as a person, or as an entrepreneur, or someone who will start the business. Remember, we don't have the same should I say, objectives or the aims, why we are in business at the first place. So I think it depends on Babamba starter. They will tell you, Norman, before they start, they document every research. They go through a thorough research. And Babankila, the person does not do the research. Kitty businesses stay long or all what you don't really need to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
Yours is just to start and go. But only the businesses stating what in certain industries you really need to do your homework. I reckon maybe in simple terms.
Yeah.
Market analysis whatsoever. You need to do your homework. Because remember, every business how we start, you have to be sure. Gone are those days or you can just go straight into business and burn your fingers and your money. Now you need to do what we call calculated risks. And part of those calculated risks, there's a phase, it's a business idea generation phase. I get it. You sit back, or what is it that I can do? Babang, for example, the business, the guy onale momaloba keletso our guest. Babang get the issue or someone who will a frustration. Maybe naile somewhere ask the service. Maybe haka start a business as well. And then the person will be able to deal with all this other things. The businesses stay long or they were not able to. So now I think the right or the first step ever is to generate the business idea. You know, before you can even register.
I was about to bring you in there, Mr. Productions. I'm speaking to you today in the context of you being Mr. Production. Your sentiments there?
You know, to add my sentiments on this one, Kore, I feel like the first ever steps that you have to start working towards whenever you're creating a business for yourself, Kore, my brother, start calling it. I don't know, for the longest time I've been saying productions media, but it's just a few weeks ago where productions media became a registered business that is running and operating. So you need to call it into existence over and over again. You say, your brand is Productions Media, you are Mr. Productions, and you own a brand called Productions Media. Like, call it over and over again. Tell yourself, what there's this brand. Start designing logos and designing graphics and creating branding and all of those things just to keep it alive.
I think that's secondary or tertiary.
I like his energy.
It's a primary.
The way he's portraying the media side.
Yes. I think that's secondary or tertiary, or if there's anything beyond tertiary. The starting point is to generate the idea. The business idea. How do you go about generating the business idea? Of course, I can name it. You know, now I gave a start Makopo Holdings. Just because I was not sure. All I knew, I want to start the business. Then I had to name it Makopo Holdings because you want to let the name. What cleaning? What if I venture into something else or it's not cleaning? People they do the mistake of registering the business first and then after they start generating the idea. I think all what you need to do, there must be something that necessitate that type of the business depending on the demographic and the geographical area you're more long on. And part of generating that idea, you need to understand or what is it that you need to solve over that type of business. Business generation idea first. That's the first phase.
And you spoke of then the creation of logos, all of those things and putting it. But I want to then come and ask you that, in your view, the foundation, the true foundation, in the context.
I can feel Lisicha's energy, right?
In the context of Makasana.
Yes.
Remember, Mr. Productions, the company comes in from the context of Makasana. And then there's our conversation, Kasi Entrepreneurship, based on Makasana.
Yes.
How would you view it? How do you then describe the context from a grassroots level, Komakasana?
Okay, Mr. Productions does what Productions Media. Productions Media, it's a video production company. Yeah, but where we create videos and everything. My brother, do you know how interesting it is to know gore ausuela wa kokoneng over telegwinya la utsena ka ramollo le vum vum and everything, creating that anticipation and everything. So it doesn't matter gore o koma kasana o go and everything. Like cell phones have broken the barrier to shoot content and everything. You're gonna need the camera, you're gonna need all of those things. With a simple phone of yours, a smartphone and everything, you can start shooting content and everything, creating digital content. It can boost and uplift your business that you're running and everything. So from a Makasana standpoint, you need to start drafting your business plan. As he said, well, yes, what I'm saying is secondary and everything, but now I was saying it in terms of keeping it alive, because sometimes we have business ideas inside of our brain, but we don't start executing them and everything. We don't start because we have that thing at the back of our brain. We forget about them, we stop talking about them and everything. So as long as you start building the branding, you keep it alive in your brain. Your brain, you can even see some things inside of your room that tells you, oh yeah, I have this company. Oh yeah, I have this company, and I have this big idea that I'm definitely eventually going to execute. But in the beginning, you need to have that plan. Or okay, sharp, I need to do 1, 2, 3. I see Madisa or okay, sharp. If I go to Madisa and say, how about I create a video so. Like for example, before you even enter, look at that lady. She was even on the news and everything. That lady, one that sells. And that lady watch a promo video about her Gugucha High and everything. Bruh, that would be something banger. And just a simple cell phone.
Right, Mr. Makopo, your sentiments on that, because I want to bring a question that's then aligned to what Liseja is then saying. And Tlanta, if you also have some sentiments, you can raise your hand there and I'll acknowledge you. Yes. But Mr. Makopo, your sentiments on what Liseja is saying.
Like I said, it depends on the type of the business that you start.
Yes.
When a business is steady, Mr. Madisha, they are way too easy to start. I get it. But when they are way too difficult to start. Very discouraging to start. But now I always encourage people, especially in the townships. When you start something very simple, start very small. That's as much as you are aiming too big and dreaming way too high. But what you need to do, go start very small. The businesses go high. Normally, you need to. That someone who was pitching the business idea to me. You can see how this person can even take the next 3 years to still doing the market research and all these things. And when you look at the whole thing, when you go to the stadium management and managing the adverts and everything, or whenever it's soccer games, and maybe pay advert companies will come and pay 98,000 rand. And to me, you really need to. You will take the next 3 or 4 years before you can even start.
And because your point, both of you gentlemen, are then moving in the direction that I want to move into, right?
Yes.
I want to come and ask you to then say, Majidama Bayakokasi. Oh, okay, my phone is then flowing off. Majidama Bayakokasi, they all say to you, I know my hustle.
Yeah.
Like me, I always say Nakala Panzula, right? Nakala Panzula, I know my hustle, but they don't understand their brand. Like you've mentioned, to say on the simplest of things, you can start with your phone, you can start with doing this and that, right? How do we go about having that guy have their daily hustle, clear, memorable, and with a clear brand identity? Go through your hustle, yes, but have a clear brand, because I can then say how do you go about doing that and using my daily utilities?
I think people, they do hustles, they started business, but you just don't know this person how to specialize about it. Like
oh yes,
again, niningi dentist, niningi mechanic, niningi I think that's a problem as well. Because normally that consistency. If you're going to service me, and there's a huge difference, Mr. Madisha, between Muzolo, that hustle, le horana business or startup business.
Okay, yeah.
But Papa Zola normally ke ba ilong hore tomorrow o dila ka se, tomorrow ke metalman, nening o dila ka eng. We are not saying Mozolo over hustling, it's not a good thing. It's actually a very good thing, given the times or difficult times we're living in. If Okas and when you just want to stick to electrician or dentist and then kara economy so enya ka ro fellow ozo like maybe you studied something go school but all I'm saying if you are going to run the business, you need to be very quite clear or what is it that you want to do ka business ska kry le gore nning o specialize ka this thing, nning o dira this thing, nning mo la re tsa re di honoroko le masukis, nning o re di tamati di di so you really need to find your food.
And now I see you. You're a noted gentleman. Let me bring in Sinosha there.
Yeah. So for my side, I agree 100% with Ntate Makopo. You like yes, you are a hustler and everything, but doing everything dilly-dallying and otomamto agadin to kabushibu odiaing and everything, that one is not gonna work for you.
Event.
Ning study
It's about local mess learning. Ning DJ.
Yes. Yeah, ning quarter. So like you need to identify and find your niche. But that's the first place that you have to start. Like yesterday you were speaking about it with Van de Werter.
Voter,
the rater. You need to identify what is it that resonates with you. But one thing I can tell you, that process of interchanging businesses and everything can help you find yourself. Because but I had multiple things that I did before I decided, you know what, let me go for
What production I say, Mr. Madisa, as we reflect, I think we mentioned it before, or even the Lamborghini, it was a tractor company.
Yes. Ferruccio Lamborghini,
And there are a lot of companies still, and on average, normally, what they say, most companies, especially these global ones, they really find multinational companies, it takes them on average between 13 to 18 years before they can finally say we found our food. One day I spoke to this thing that we call hedgehog concept, to say hedgehog, what it does, it masters only one thing and one thing only. But most companies say already were not successful. They started something, along the way they are changing. Ninning it's a pharmaceutical company. Ninning is something, Ninning
the fashion designers.
It finds itself. But my advice, stick to one thing. Identify that thing. Remember, you don't exist just for the sake of existing as the business.
Identify your niche.
Yes. Now, you need to exist because there's a need for your existence as a business in your geographical area. Because I'm just trying to have this narrow view. I just want to narrow the whole thing to the township businesses. But you really, Mr. Madisa, need to. You cannot be a hair salon and the next thing will look shady about. It's either you are a mechanic or run a hair salon. Because now the danger, all that small, big companies, they can afford to diversify or to over diversify because only substantial amounts of budgets. When it's a small business, otherwise you will stretch your resources. And you will exhaust them. It's a lot of businesses, some of them are not profitable. Nining wasn't your stock a mirror, Nining wasn't your stock any fluorcar, Nining wa baker and rickshaw magwina. And then it's Halasoncho Regadi Passage.
And then Regradi Olimo Magwina Lidi Olimo.
I think you really need to stick to what you need to stick here.
Then let me bring in Ntlantla there, have his 10 cents worth of information, and then I'll bring in a quick ad break, and then we'll then continue with the conversation. Ntlantla, I'm not sure if the people will see you there, but we'll try. Your sentiments on that, your hand was up.
Being seen is not a problem. I think what's the problem here, it's me understanding what the topic is all about. Okay, I have a peek here on what that the Makopo is saying. I believe that you can know your business, but there is a little bit of problem when it comes to us Kasi people. There is a thing that happens that you can want to open a business, but you find that you have a capital problem. And when you have capital problem, whatever that comes your way might be a way of generating a capital for your business to work. So to say that I cannot fix a car and also do Magunya at the same time, it's also a challenge that maybe one can try to work around as a way of bringing capital to that business that they want to end up having at the end of the day. So what I can say is that you can have that business idea that is very clear, but find a way to finance it your way before you go around looking for any finances. So to find a way to finance it, it can be through that magwinya that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It can be through that oiling that you're talking about.
Yes.
But have that clear business strategy of what is it that you want to bring.
Yeah.
If you want to open, for an example, you want to open a cleaning company, and you know that you will need the material, you will need whatever things that you can jot down, that you want to say that this is what I'll be venturing on. Start by always finding a way to capitalize it your way.
Yeah.
It can be by through magwinya and stuff, but at the end of the day, have that clear business idea, which this is what I want to pursue. But don't just sit and be like, one day I will find a cleaning slot and clean.
Yeah.
Find a way to finance it first.
Mr. Baloyi, thank you so much for that sentiment. You know what? Let me take a very quick break because there's a lot of issues that Mr. Baloyi is then mentioning and that we're going to speak about. When you mentioned the issue of capital, I've jotted it down there. We're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back from that, we'll then go into some of those issues. I want to bring in what Aisha spoke about and the issue of funding. I'll tell you this. It's on a lot of issues because it was raised by more than 10 people. If you look at through some of the of my papers here, I've jotted them down. Funding is being then mentioned by at least 10 people. We'll take a very quick break. We'll come back from that. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 o'clock on the dot. Let's take a very quick break. We'll be back after this.
TUTFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Independent Communication Authority of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving you content that is fair, programming that is not harmful, and news that is accurate. If you think that we are not living up to the code, then you can lodge a complaint to the station manager. Direct complaints to mahapaek@tut.ac.za or call 012-382-9719. We will respond within 7 working days. If you are not satisfied with our response, then you can escalate your complaint to the Independent Communication Authority of South Africa. Direct your complaint via email to bmashigo@icasa.org.za or via post to Independent Communication Authority of South Africa, 350 Witch Hazel Avenue, Eco Park Estate, Centurion, 0144. Or call 012-568-3000. TUTFM 96.2, amplifying voices, empowering lives.
Like and follow us on Facebook at TUTFM 96.2, on Twitter and Instagram at TUTFM_962.
Add us to your favorites. Add us to your favorites.
Add us to your favorites.
And keep
Radio
on TUTFM.
That's my baby, that's my baby, that's my baby girl. That's my baby girl. My baby girl. Yeah, this station's got soul.
It is definitely 3 minutes after the hour, 8 o'clock. You are still listening to TUTFM 96.2. We amplifying voices, empowering lives. And I'll tell you this is another edition of Kasi Entrepreneurship. And we speaking, crafting a brand, the steps along the way. And we speaking to Mr. Makopo. We're speaking to Liseja Sinosha. We're speaking to Ntlanhla Baloyi. We're speaking to everyone who's listening on our social media platforms, who's watching us live on YouTube, Facebook. We're also there on TikToks. Several TikToks accounts actually are running and operating. So you can definitely be part of this conversation by asking your questions, sharing your comments, and asking everything. I think these gentlemen are more than capable to ask. Mr. Baloyi, before we took that ad break, you spoke on the issue of capital. I will come to it, the gentlemen, right? Let's continue with the issues. Because I want to go with these issues as they were addressed.
But there's something I really want to comment on what
Mr. Baloyi said.
What he said.
Yeah.
Before we went for commercial.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, do comment. Comment. Yeah, this is the platform.
Now, Nare, what if what you are doing right now, as much as is your ultimate business, what if this is what you are starting with in order for you to be able to finance? You really know, Hore, the business that you want to start, you need a certain amount of finance. And then, what if maybe you start a business, you do that and do that, but not necessarily to say this is going to be your business.
Yeah.
But to say, your honor, just this is what I want to start with, or raise a capital like it. But still, Mr. Baloyi, all what I'm saying, as much as you can start any other business, but always find your niche. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
When I started out as a cleaning business. Way back, like it's 10 years now.
Yeah.
2015. I started as a cleaning business again.
Yeah.
So now, as a cleaning business now, we were able to, whatever the profits that we were getting, we were able to finance the next business idea. I get it. But our identity anyway has always been one thing.
Yes.
And it's industrial. And then and that was our identity. That was our heritage.
Yeah.
So what we did, Mr. Madisa, as much as neridira the hygienic services, as much as neridira normal general cleaning study into and cleaner rabarabula lady car washes. Okay. But now nereberka loko di faming redira cleaning. Okay. All what we did go we redira all these types of cleaning. Okay. But what is it that we really want to do? And we realized no, our strength more lungutu on industrial cleaning.
Okay.
Than just because now we know where this one, how there are the hygienic services. There are a lot of things that you really need to comply with. But when you do the industrial cleaning, for me to choose industrial cleaning, nearly the issue of number one, it's not capital intensive. But now it brings you a lot of money. It can bring you millions.
Oh yes.
Because now when you do the industrial cleaning, now you are able now to actually blend or add, supplement that business. You can do other businesses which are value added. Things like body waste management.
Okay.
But I cannot do waste management for a Kabeko charge. So Kabekir no man, let me move as much as Kestatilega the cleaning, but let me now stick. I really need to specialize.
Yeah.
Cardno, this is the cleaning that I will specialize on. Number one, we had to do away with all these types of other cleaning businesses, including closing car washes and rice sticker to industrial cleaning. Industrial cleaning, we were able to now do the cleaning and waste management, helping companies to be more compliant. And as a result, Mr. Marishan, and we were able to make more money, employ more people, and that's when now we start. Now we are a fully fledged engineering company at the moment.
Yeah.
And so now you really need to find your food.
And let me come in there with that being understanding and finding your niche. Would you then say you covered Mr. Baloi? Because I want to bring in the issue of funding that you mentioned on, right? I want to bring it in. So you covered on that particular issue of finding your niche.
Yeah, I think I'm covered so far.
All right, sure. Now, when we went for that quick commercial ad break, you mentioned the issue of funding, Ramakopo. This issue of funding was touched base on by Matera Senyolo, Sunyata Tokoba Shimanyana, Renkumishe, Aisha, and there was also another lady in the studio. I didn't get your name, but she also mentioned it. But with what they've said, the stage is saying you shouldn't do all these multiple things trying to get, in terms of trying to get your footing. Ntlantla said that, but that will generate income. I want to take you and say, what are some of the realistic funding avenues they can then take if ever habana collateral or a credit history they can try to use for that particular company they want to start? Yeah.
You know, I always go against the grain. I've got my own beliefs. Madisha, you cannot be an entrepreneur normal like okay. Somehow you must be paranoid, you must be but normally the entrepreneur, have you realized that the entrepreneurs keep at crazy?
It also goes out with artists. Yeah, I remember when I was performing at the South African State Theatre in Tatomngare, I think you cannot be an artist if I want a little closinyana or how sharp. So
now how normal you cannot be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And now I always go against this thing now we really need capital. One of our guests said, no, you really need capital. If you need capital, it doesn't have to be that much. Like problem and Mr. Ntlantla, I think is the issue or you need to start. What if this is what you are starting so that we finance a business city? The problem is our business ideas already generate. Some of them are not realistic. Are not achievable. Yeah, I mean, one day before give a youth and dollar.
Yeah.
So they attended a workshop here NYDA. In Barmore Nabare. Guys, it was the first day bare Kara auditorium. Bar Clohopolo Omulumung IML and at the introduce. Now you introduce Horumango Taole guy. Okay. But whenever I met Mr. Madisa, I'm the director and the CEO, the founder. Yeah, what? Mabitwana nale very fancy.
Yes.
But most of them are like abo consortium budinye, like a big conglomerate. And a hard feature, you can see already business ideas jahona somewhere at the corner of their minds. Banele this thing ya horo tlokra very big ten na ya go aga bridge le di reservoirs le a highway le bileng ko Qwaqwa. You understand again? That's not how you can start a business. Re feditse go introduce I na ke na mama ke rana nge cleaning company re produce di sepa and re reksha di foam bath le ding again. And then the next question I will okay, let introduce it. How many of you baba lenka mobile or the business jabana they are trading as we speak? You know we were 2 or 3. Most of them, their businesses were existing on paper.
Yeah.
What's or why? The business idea, that generation, the way you generate your business idea, you cannot now realistically try to generate a business idea longer for you to launch it. You will need 15 million.
Proper stuff. You know what? Let me jump in there, Liseja, and I'm gonna take you on a very big question, Liseja. You need to be prepared. This one is for you, Ramakopo. I'll come and take your sentiments. You know what? Same thing applies with me. I went to a workshop, an entrepreneurial workshop. I tell you, somewhere around May or June in Tlantla. And then we sit there in groups, right? So they put us in groups first. We have to come up with a company or a business idea as a group. Then you have to come up with an individual, write down the plans and all of that. There was one lady, I will not mention her name. She's a close friend of mine. But I told her that, shoo, Wanaga, your business idea, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Well, it is possible, but we don't have the capacity to do that. If that business idea were to pass, it would definitely assist South Africa with its load shedding issues. But that would need at least 100-something million rands for you to start that particular company.
Hundreds of millions.
It's definitely not going to work. But while we're still there, because this might need a lot of money. This one, it is the issue of sponsorship. Liseja, I want to bring you in on this one, then the conversation will go to Mr. Makopo and Ntlantle. How does one position themselves to attract sponsorships or even investment without even big networks? Liseja, because I know that that's your speciality.
Sponsorship go businessing.
Yes.
Not funding or the funders.
In whatever way you want to put it, that I'm here to assist you. I look into this particular thing, right? I want to assist you in this particular terms. Either remember, sponsorship, it doesn't have to be money. That's
how I started.
Right? Yes. How do you go about that, Liseja, before it brings to Mr. Makop? How do you think people should then position themselves to attract those?
Okay. First thing first, I think in Kasi Entrepreneurship, we have stressed this so many times. First thing first, formalize your business. But I think Mr. Makopo mentioned this a number of times where you need to start off your business. Register your business, do all those things, formalize your business and ensure you have all the certificates and all the necessary documents to ensure that your business is real, your business is legit, PTY LTD, you know? Yeah. And then after you formalize your business, make sure you take your comply. Make sure that you comply with all the necessary procedures that you need to follow in order to make sure your business is valid and it's legit. And then the third thing is that take care of yourself. You know, as the face of the business, when you go out there, when you speak to people, when you engage with people, ensure that each and every person with respect and everything, because you don't know where maybe you're talking to someone that knows someone who's a cousin to the president.
Yeah, true.
You get me?
Madisa, I think one of your questions, how do you build a brand? Okay.
That is the initial conversation.
Already brand trading, we cannot de-associate them. Is it the right way?
Yeah.
Because someone in parliament instead of our unappoint,
yes,
disappoint.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if that's
true. No, that's correct.
I get it. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Only businesses steady, Mr. Madisa, we are not, and most of my businesses are like that. It's not that easy to disassociate those businesses with the founder. which is a danger. When now building a brand, your business should be an independent brand from you. Your business should be able to survive any scandal. So the owner,
yes,
yes. Yeah, that's it's unfortunate. When we build indie brands, you know, if I can move from the business the likelihood to go, they may stop getting this businesses still or the money is flowing in, simply because me as a person, I'm not there.
Yeah.
So I'm actually in the process. Yeah, as much as we are embarking on organizational renewal, but at the same time, I will need to reinvent myself as a person, but also I need to reinvent the business, or even so much independent from me, where I want to get. Because now a lot of businesses, it's unfortunate. That is why high most of the time they do not outlive the founders. And business
and when you speak of the word outlive, I've noted you. Do you want any sentiments to throw in there, Rebaloi?
I know so far
you're good.
I'm covered. I like the fact that I wanted to touch on the legal
matters
side. So I think Mr. Snusha ran straight to that one,
yeah.
Whereby you have to make sure that your business is registered and all those legal requirements
are done.
Compliance. Because I feel like those are one of the things that a lot of people are not aware of. You know, you can have a business, but also to touch on that one, I don't feel like it's worth it to run straight to it. But I will also put I will just try to give a little view of why am I thinking it's not worth it just to run to it.
Okay.
Because you might find out that today you decide that I want to do the cleaning. You run straight to register cleaning, like he indicated, Mr. Makopo indicated already. And then you find out tomorrow that no, man, I'm not into cleaning. Already you have registered the business. That means you have to go back and rechange the name, and it's another process as well. And maybe you have already acquired some of the documents needed on the cleaning side, and then you find that no, my passion is not on the cleaning side.
Oh, yes.
My business can go to this direction. So it's all like it all comes from that first part of things, whereby you have to identify your real business idea and be sure about it. So I feel like even the documentation side of it, it's also worth it if you start knowing your business yourself, like you indicated as well.
And I guess what we're taking home this evening, or particularly this week, in terms of our conversation coming in from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, is finding your niche. that we can agree
finding
on.
Your niche.
Yes.
Formalizing as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Part of formalizing is compliance. It's very important.
I want to take you, gentlemen, on a few questions
before you go to the next one. What I just want to jump on what Makopo just said.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to say, Kore, the first employee to your company is you. Yeah, but the first employee, the first director, the first anything is you. So in the beginning, when we look at productions media, we're looking at Mr. Productions. So yourself, how you speak, how you coordinate yourself, how you talk to people, how you do everything, that's what's going to establish what kind of business are you running.
Yeah.
And also the next step from there, start socializing, my guy. Go to marketplaces, go to all those places and show the people what you can do. Like for now, I'm showing Makopo what I can do, and next thing, Kabelo, one of my funders. You see, show people what you can do, then definitely you'll get those sponsorships and everything.
A number of questions that I don't think will
finance. You spoke about finance.
I'm coming there. Don't stress.
And compliance.
A lot of issues. I think we won't touch base tonight on. Some will have to leave them because we're running flat out of time. So I'll take you on 2 pointers. Then we'll definitely delve in them and we'll call it an evening. And then another time, when we have a sitting like this, we will continue. You must remember them. You spoke of compliance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You spoke of legalizing. Right? But most importantly, formalizing the business in terms that, you know what that leaves out? What you mentioned, outlive. Most of businesses or the founders, they don't outlive their businesses. And this one comes in.
No, their businesses don't outlive them.
They don't outlive them. Okay, let me put it properly there.
Yeah.
This one comes in. It happens. Give it to you. But this raises the question of legacy, like you've mentioned, and this one is coming from Amkhalang Aisha Ramatena, right? He spoke of the issue of legacy to then say, like you've mentioned, Liseja, that most companies start because of survival. They don't really think into the legacy. Like you've mentioned, also like TT, they start selling from a Konanyana store or Konanyana, then local boat. But I was then asking, how do we turn that survival into something that can outlive you, a legacy? And also, what are the building blocks of a foundation that will last a building,
the first step, and we always talk about it. Formalize your business. In the process of formalizing your business, part of doing that is to make sure your business is compliant at all times. How do you like compliance, Mr. Madisa? Number one, for example, you realize, or whenever you start registering a business, the moment you are done, maybe ka generator, mabicho, the moment you are done, and then now submit a CIPC or whatever more register and business out. The moment the certificate did it automatically now automobile with the tax clearance certificate with the you must start by formalizing or legalizing your business. That's compliance again. If you realized or they are so lazy to appointment, or they are even lazy to come up with the name of the business. Otolobana business what are 10 projects?
Oh yes, you did mention that at some point,
What are 10 projects again? I want to stay maybe for a minute. Motabenya compliance. Karabla compliance, Madisha. Or your business is registered, maybe for example for tax, because no one can come and be willing to fund your business, not unless if you are a taxpayer and you are more compliant. You do your submissions and so on. Even let's say maybe you're not generating enough, whatever that you will be submitting COSARs, but you need to be compliant at all times. I will tell you why. This is the danger. Remember, not blame a government, or there was this 500 billion over 200 billion kanakoya COVID. It was only few businesses still, or they had to go and apply for that stimulus package again. Most of them, they were turned down. Kabakala issue are compliant. Government, one of the things say before they can even help you, it's your business compliant na ready submissions buy a little once a year. I mean your UIFs or registered labor for UIFs, are they contributing? Felt like a miracle. What will happen if you're not compliant, if your business are not compliant? A problem. No one can come and fund, not even government can help, even the banks. So now I always encourage people to say, part of legalizing or formalizing your business, make sure when it comes to compliance, you cannot be a sole proprietor and then now you so wish or people can fund you or big organizations can come through for you. Okay. Because somehow they need to keep their record. We were able to fund this business. Okay. So that business, that is why when we were talking about BEE at some point, one of the prerequisites or the preconditions to do business with, not even funding, just to do a business with another business. Are you compliant enough? Please send us your CIPC document. Send us 1, 2, 3. Letter of good standing. Over IT-34. Just to make sure, to check, or are you a compliant, are you a responsible corporate citizen? That this is the reason number why we always encourage people, our listeners in this platform, to formalize their businesses, to be more compliant.
All right, you know what? We won't take the other questions that I said we will take because the time is not on our side. I'm going to give you, gentlemen. No, you're noted. I'll give you time to then share your sentiments on this issue. Then we'll call it an evening. Lisa, you can go first because you're the one who raised your hand first.
Okay, so in terms of me, one thing I want to say, Kore, the reason why most of our businesses, Komakasan and everything, they don't outlive us once we pass away and everything. Kore, we do not have repeatable steps and methods to do what I do. you don't document each and every step that is required for you to run that business, because we don't know how you used to run that business. When you pass away, we don't know anything. You need to formalize everything, from how you turn on this switcher, how you do. You need to write them in a document, step by step instructions, and you need to learn how to teach them, because those skills must be passed on to the next person in order to replicate or do the same, provide the same services that you're doing. Yeah, I think that is one thing. Those big franchises out there, they are beating us at it.
And especially the one that we eat every Tuesday. I think that's why there's been standing here.
There's a lot of procedures and protocols that you have to go through before you can work there.
What he's saying, I'm sorry, just to come in like that. Yeah, I've got a friend who run a veterinary clinic. It's my previous employer. Niki Kulumaka Theatre, whenever I did body pathology reports and everything.
Yeah.
It's a huge, repeatable clinic. Okay. Mr. Madisa, he's about to retire now. He was supposed, maybe he retired a few years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. Okay. It's a multi-millionaire clinic. But unfortunately, that clinic will have to close whenever he decides, on the day he decides to retire.
Okay.
Why? Because Banaba they've decided to go and study and do other things. The actual sciences. So let us start the businesses na Mr. Madish. We always say you need to commercialize your skill, or whatever that you are genetically talented, Moyon. You need to commercialize that. Now, if DJ Play Coffee through his company, if Mwanahai cannot perform like him, what will happen now? It's not business alone or will outlive you. The moment you die, that's one of the things are ready living.
Ntandla, your sentiments on that before I close. I'll give you each 30 seconds to then give your closing remarks about your sentiments on this particular issue.
There are a lot of issues. There are a lot of things that I touched on, and some of the things I paid much attention, more especially when Ramakopo was talking. You know, he stated a lot about the documentation and stuff. You know, when he was speaking about documentation, about all those things that he was mentioning, there is a thing that clicked in my brain. That's why I raised my hand so aptly. So this is one thing that I think a lot of us South Africans are not aware of. There is a thing called database. I hear someone is mentioning an issue that funding needs connection. It's not at all odds. There is something called database. Even TUT does have a database, if you are not aware of that. Whereby they pick up their companies that they
supply.
The suppliers and all that. And even if it's a company that deals with certain services, they pick up from those things that you get on that database. So I feel like it's a way that it should be told. People should know about this kind of things, because one can own a business for about decades and never know about this kind of information that I can register under government and wait for certain tenders. I can register through TUT via whatever university it might be, or whatever industry it might be, and happen to be working under that certain industry. That's why I was raising my hand, is because I had him touch much of that. And also what Mr. Sinusha was touching there, I really feel like
Mr. Productions.
He's a brand. He's a brand. And forgive me, sir, you're a brand. Mr. Productions there. It's studied a lot about teaching the people that follow. Like, it's all about creating a legacy in a way. You sit down to, like, it's a thing that I was telling one of my friends today. He owns a company. He was mentioning, but like, hey, but I don't know how to pass these skills that I have to my workers. I'd be like, the problem is that when you want to focus on being just a brand, but you don't want to learn this thing from the ground. As a business owner, you also have to learn those basics that you think that are not very important from the admin side of the things. Teach yourself that little bit of admin that you think is not important. Teach yourself those little things from the ground, like those things that you feel like maybe they're not necessary. There might be a way that can uplift your company when you happen to leave us.
Sure. Like I said yesterday, there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a self-employed.
Oh yes. So you know what? We will not waste time, gentlemen. I have to fly off to Soweto. Need to call, give a call to a man called Zombie. Liseja, I'll start with you. Yes. Mr. Productions, and my apologies because you're today here as a brand. Yeah. Your 30 seconds of your closing sentiments to this particular issue, because we haven't touched on a lot of issues. We will continue. God will bless us. Will give us a time to sit like this again, and we'll continue this conversation. 30 seconds to your closing sentiments.
All I'm going to say is that, number one, be professional. Number two, formalize everything. Number three, know how to speak. Yeah, but if I give you 30 seconds and say pitch your business right now, know how to pitch it and areas. Number four, Bona, start small. Don't jump for high things and everything that you cannot reach, because and then once they compile and everything, you'll be able to afford and then finally, Bona, try your best to do your best, because your company must produce their best in order for it to attract more sponsors, more funders, more all of those things. So try your best to do your best.
Definitely that. Mr. Balokopo, will close with you. Nhlanhla, your 30 seconds.
My 30 seconds, I will just say, be your brand.
Yes.
It's I know that you shouldn't be your brand too much, but be your brand. Be the best representative of your brand. If you want your brand to grow as much as you wish, be that brand. When we see you, we should see Mr. Productions, as he has indicated. So when you see me, you have to see my brand. I'm not ready to disclose mine. I also registered through the learnings that I'm getting daily here.
Yes.
So I'm trying as much as I can. I'm registering where I can. So and also the last thing that I'm gonna say is that, don't forget to register your business. And whatever idea that you have, if it's a business plan, don't give it to anyone. According to me, it's not a thing that you should go around being like, this is my business plan, read through it. This is my business, read through it. There are people who can reinvent it better than you.
We'll close it there. Ramakopo, your 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. I feel like
it is, but because of time, you have to be concise. Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Madisa, I didn't know. I only know when I was today old.
Yeah.
Or in fact, Colgate is fan samoto.
Really?
Yes. I didn't know. I only knew when I'm now old. Or Colgate is fan samoto.
Oh yes.
Is fan sa William Colgate again. So now it's becoming more confusing now when we talk about brands to other people. They are not even aware of how it's Makopo.
Yes.
Babang, they just think, or when you Google it, Makopo. So I want to build it to a point where Haisale Sefane, Kila, or to you, Sancho Makalwen, or even I never thought or is fan. But this is how I started. I started Kahadi Madi Harafuchaku Kreking, and then I grew up from more. What am I saying? To everyone who wants to start, as much as you may dream big, start very small and grow it from more. As we speak, Mr. Madisha, I always say, right now we've got over 300 employees, but we started only 4 employees. Lady Haraf Chief, you start very small.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's close it off by then saying it is definitely 25 minutes before the hour 9 o'clock. You are still listening to TUTFM 96.2. We're amplifying voices, empowering lives. Liseja Senosha said, be the best of the best. Nhlanhla Baloi said, you need to be the brand. Your brand has to be known. And we spoke of formalizing your business, finding your niche and making sure that you comply. And I'll tell you this, House of Madisa does then comply. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another edition of Kasi Entrepreneurship. We'll be back after this.
That wraps up today's edition of Kasi Entrepreneur on the Groundbreakers. A big shout out to our visionary sponsor, Makopo.com, your home of premium, intelligent appliance designed for comfort, class, and convenience.